Alright guys, this is a Commander high torque, and since I'm doing deliveries on it, I don't do a lot of constant higher speed runs. I'm doing a lot of starting and stopping, a lot of turning, a lot of downtown work. I mainly work downtown. So this wheel, do a lot of hills too. This wheel is amazing except for the heat. So I've got the dual fan set up below the motherboard here. So there's 3 parts to this motherboard. My accessory board here, this small piece here, burned out and I had it replaced. It was about $70. And I don't know how it burned out, but it did. So here is the fans plugged in here. You don't really need to see that, it's not important, but the dual fans underneath this massive heat sink go in. They're 2 12-volt fans hooked up the way one 12-volt fan should have been hooked up. So they're both running slower, but there's 2 of them. They're supposed to move more air, but I still have heat issues with this wheel. And what I mean by heat is it goes above 140. That's when my heat alarm goes off, and I think it should be fine up to 150. Even I think somebody said 170, but for me, I know that it's just going to get hotter and I need to cool this wheel off. So on top here you'll see there's a fan here. There's also a fan here, and I was going to set it up to where I had a choice. I could leave the regular fans running the way they're supposed to, and when it gets to 115 degrees, the fans come on. But I left those as is, and I added these 2 fans here, and I hooked them up. You'll see I actually got a soldering gun. You can go to a hobby shop, and most hobby shops will be able to solder this for you. If you're in the Portland area, it cost me $8 to have somebody do it for me. I eventually got a solder gun myself, so I think this is done right. And some heat shrink. And these adapters, I'll leave a link in the description for these adapters. I bought a whole box of them. I couldn't find the normal. I'll show you here. Unplug this. This is the adapter that it normally uses, and I didn't find those, so I'll plug that in later. So the extra I didn't want it to run off the main batteries because I just don't want to mess with main batteries, and I could have it set up to where the fans are always running, which will help a little bit. But what I've done is I had this set up, so I've got 2 12-volt fans hooked up to this one lead, and I have, instead of a 12-volt battery, I have this. You can get this as a hobby shop too, and it was like $80-$90, so it wasn't cheap, but it's a 14.8 volt 5200 milliamp, and I got one this big because I had a smaller one, and I did not know that you could not run these things dry, and I did, and it ruined the battery. So this little $20 battery, it lasted for about 3 hours. So that was an 800 milliamp battery. It lasted 3 hours, or 4 actually, I think. So this one should last long enough for me to not kill it. After say 5, 6, 7 hours. I haven't tested out the longevity of this yet, and I will do that. But I had this soldered by the hobby shop, and it's got this other connector to it. I don't know what this connector is called, but once I plug it in, and I have this lead coming out of holes that I've drilled into the top, and so it's going to go out the back. And on top here, I have some Velcro. This is another downside here. This is exposed, so if I wreck, this is a lithium battery. It's a lithium polymer battery, so I believe it might not be something you want to damage in a wreck. So yeah, there's that. If I had a 3D printer, which I don't, I would put this in a case and protect it, but I'll have to find some other system. I might just get a large PVC pipe and put it in there. I could do that. So I'm going to plug this in. And see these things turn on, and I don't have the holes for this fan setup perfectly lined up perfectly here, but it should. This top one should bring in air from the holes that I'll have up here. See, I've got those covered. It's a dust, moisture, hydrophobic cloth, and I've got those. No, it's one layer. I use one layer in the back. Since I'm going to have air coming out the back, then I don't have to worry about, on a sunny day, I don't have to worry about dust or moisture getting in there. So when it does rain, I don't really have a problem with heat. So I'll just unplug that, and I've got some of the duct tape that one of the YouTubers suggested using that doesn't leave any residue. And that would be Marty Back. Yeah. Thank you, Marty Back, for this idea, the holes in the top. So you've got heat coming off the top of this, the motherboard, the two, looks like accessory boards. I think there's an audio board and an accessory board. And so you actually get the heat off the top, but just the holes in the top with the hydrophobic cloth was not enough for me. So today, I'm going to test this system out. And it looks like it's, instead of 24 volts, or they said that would be too long, too much, even if I had two 12-volt fans in parallel. If I run it too long with a 24-volt battery, then it might burn out the fans. This is kind of a good in-between, and it should be enough, and it should be in the right place to do some cooling. So I'll post another video after I try this thing out and try to overheat my wheel.